One. Hey, good morning, everybody. Scott Fisher here with Senior Resource Connectors. We are here to move into season two of our series where we get to feature and talk to the experts in our coalition and our sponsors and describe and address questions and the issues that so many families have to face. And many times they don't even know the questions they have to ask before they need them, and so we're hoping that we bring some light and illumination to that. And today I'm talking to a good buddy of mine, Trent Schneeberger. Trent works for Cadence Chandler, which is one of our partners and sponsors. Trent serves as the community relations coordinator. Is that right?
That is correct. I appreciate it, buddy.
Well, that's a mouthful. What do you do? I imagine that you get running in many directions.
Oh, I do. I really do, Scott. My actual role is working with families that are looking for community and really trying to help them understand what senior living is. I mean, it's a new journey for them, it's a new chapter. So it's having that opportunity not only with the seniors themselves, but also working with their adult children and even some of their grandchildren.
I have been in the spaces of helping families navigate the journey and finding location. The company I started 21 years ago, Options for Senior Living, has walked that a few times with some families over the years. And two things I'm thinking about. One is most of the time, more than 80% of the time, my clients are the adult kids that you just touched on, and which is why we're here. And two, the paradigm, the perspective so many people have about senior living is still rooted a lot in the old nursing home scenario, right?
Very,
Slump block
very
walls,
big.
people in their wheelchairs slump down, all that kind of stuff. And I got to tell you, Cadence Cogir, our partners, provide some of the most luxurious living arrangements, environments, healthy environments for families and their residents to age in, coupled with stellar care. And you get to work in that every day.
I do. Thank you, Scott. Yeah, we really have pride in our communities as well as our residents. We look at them as they're our family, and helping assist them, in so many different ways to understand their journey and what they're on and what they're doing because they've worked hard all their lives, and so to give them that best opportunity to enjoy life and to understand what senior living is, that's our goal. That's what we want to do.
When you walk into your building, and that building's only been open a couple of years now, you're full. You got a house full. You're stretched out over there, but there aren't people over there housed waiting to die. There's life happening in your building.
Oh, Scott, it's amazing. I really like to tell people, it's like the comment you made a few minutes ago. Everyone thinks of senior living kind of as this nursing home, four gray walls, and you're basically going to die. And senior living is everything but that. And it's basically, I like to explain it, we're a cruise ship on land. I mean, you walk in that door and we're not going from port to port, but man, we've got an activities bus to take you to activities, to take you to events, as well as we've got activities coming in. You've got meals, you've got all sorts of different services. I laugh half the time when I'm doing tours. When the adult kids are touring for their parents, they actually joke that they want to move in because it's so nice.
I would
So
just
it's
go right
perfect.
I'd go right to the pizza oven, like on a 5 days a week deal. I just and that's no joke. There's pizza ovens in those buildings, and people just hang out and get to order a pie and just be out, right?
Oh yeah, it's great. And I think what's funny is you watch residents, they'll get up maybe in the morning and have breakfast. And it's like you'll notice it's after breakfast and they're still socializing. And the next thing, they haven't even gone back to their apartment. They're right back to the dining area or another activity because they're just having fun. And
Well,
that's what it all comes down to is enjoying life.
life happens when people are together. We saw exactly what happens to I have a mom that's living in independent living right now, has not moved into senior living yet. My wife's families, we all got our journey, right? And that pandemic isolated us and cut us off from the world and cut our seniors off. Even inside senior living, they were restricted to their rooms. And so, oh my God,
Yeah.
we were we were walking them down a slow road, right, to demise, unfortunately. And
Very
um,
true. I mean, we're all human and we're meant to have human contact. And, and some people like more human contact than others.
Mhm.
And so, when we were isolated, it made it tough. And that's where I think senior living communities are so beneficial, is it's taking someone, for example, if they're still living in their home and maybe they've got a healthcare provider stopping by or a family member a couple times once a week, they're lucky. Where a community, you've got social activity all the time. So
Right.
if you want to be involved in something, you can go and be involved. And if you want some privacy, you just go right back to your apartment.
Right. Right. I mentioned kind of in the lead in that I started a business 20 years ago, 21 coming up in March here. And having been a nurse prior to starting the business, um, I wanted to be an agent or a guide for families that help them navigate this. Um, I didn't work for senior living, but I worked with and really I worked for, because it's in our relationship, it's senior living that pays our way. We offer a free service to families, right? So
Yeah.
I've always held the relationship between me and my senior living partners at at the top of the list, right? It wasn't, I didn't work for families. I served families and I worked for you guys in my mind, and both deserve my best. And so you here you are now in a building and you've got all of these agents that we're a dime a dozen now. 20 years ago there was a handful of us, but now there's a dime a dozen.
Very true.
How do you determine your relationships? How do you engage relationally with referral agents? And to that, how do the referral agents best serve families from your perspective?
Well, I think first of all, to answer the first question, I think the biggest thing in working with a referral agent, it's a partnership.
Mhm.
And that partnership, it's the communication that we build together. It's them getting to know me, and especially because they're local, they're familiar with the things that are happening at my community. They understand the changes that are going on. So we build those really close relationships where they understand when they're bringing someone to my community, they know exactly what they're going to get. And vice versa. I know that the person they're bringing to me, it's important. And because they've been able to do their due diligence with that person, find out that person's needs for their loved one, and then be able to bring them to me if I was the right match from what their discovery and in the information process that they found.
It,
So
in today's world, people go Google everything, right? And you made that point about local. The local agent should know the niches, the nuances, the the relationships that come in from the outside providers, the mobile providers, what the culture's like in the building. And so as
yes.
I'm looking to match a family to a building, I've got you in mind because I know what's going on in your world.
Yep. Well, and I'll tell you what's great is, as well as your team, they know the area. So they know where my community sits. So
Mm.
they've talked to that loved one. If that loved one's needing to be, within a few miles of a hospital, they know where a hospital nearby to our community is, as well as maybe they're involved in their church. Well, they're familiar with the churches in the area. There's so many things that provider works with in understanding those families' needs and wants, to be able to bring them to me, for me then to be able to help them with that next stage that I'm able to help them with.
And that local agent that you have that relationship with, that it for you is superior to when families show up maybe that have gotten a lead from an online something that they've typed into and they just send you or and send the family a list of places. The agent has already prepped and there's like, it doesn't, it feel like it flows well for
Oh,
you? Yeah.
Scott, it flows so much better. I mean, I tell you, it's huge. The quality of leads that I get from a local partnership
Mhm.
is wonderful, because they really understand. They're not sending me someone that I'm, having to connect with and then find out, oh, well, that loved one didn't want to be in Chandler or Gilbert. They really need to be out in Glendale. But
Mm.
the local partnership is able to say, okay, hey, that family member, they live in this area, the community's in this area, what that family member's needing, Cadence Chandler has to offer. they really do a very good job in matching. And that's huge. I mean, especially when that family is going through the stress that they are
Yeah.
trying to find a place, it's really helping take some of that stress away.
I think one of the best parts about what I get to do, if you can relate to this, is that when I'm talking to a family and they're just unloading the stress that what they're doing at home and how they're managing and helping keep mom independent in her house or whatever. And when their shoulders drop and they go, oh,
Oh yeah.
go, all right, I've done my thing. They feel like they've got a trusted ally or whatever to help them through the process here.
Oh, Scott, 100%. I mean, I actually have had both men and women start crying in my
Crying.
office. The children of that senior loved one that they're trying to help find a home for, because they have been making calls. They tell me the stories that that they're trying to run not only, a regular family of their own, a work schedule, but they're trying to then help find something for their loved one. And when you're able to take that stress away to know that they helped their parents or their grandparents find a place that's going to suit what that loved one is needing, oh, it's a huge relief for them. And just to watch the facial expressions, and what's really neat is to watch them when they come back to visit the family and to see the smiles on their face. And I'll have people tell me, I wish we would have done this sooner.
That's
it
a
we waited
common that's a
we
common
waited
response.
way too long, because out of respect, mom or dad or grandpa and grandma, they want to stay in their home, because what we have to respect is their generation was raised that you work hard, you own your home, that's where you stay, you age in your home. But what they're forgetting is society has changed, where it's a little harder for them to maybe keep up on the maintenance of the house, the exterior and the interior. So for them now to not have to worry about that, not to worry about paying property taxes and all that other stuff, and they can come and just enjoy life, you've just made that chapter in that family's life so much better.
One of the things I've done for years, Trent, is I'm talking to maybe one of the kids is there, the daughter and the mom are at the kitchen table, and I'm going through my kind of intake or my discovery with them, right? That first meeting, and I'll say to the daughter, "What are you doing for mom?" Well, on Wednesdays I come over and set up mom's pills, and on Saturdays I take her shopping, and on she twice a month to the doctor, and the housekeeper comes in and does her, and she describes this whole litany of things that she's managing, and of course she's got her own kids in high school or college still,
Yeah.
maybe grandkids of her own that she's worked with,
Yep.
and I say, well, but we're working really hard to keep a mom independent. I go, well, mom's already in assisted living. And they look at me and go, what? I go, oh, you're just doing it. You are the assisted living while mom's getting the benefit of that. And it's time to move when you're exhausted. And mom, you have to understand this is exhausting her. And you see both sides go, whoa,
Yeah.
the reality of that. And what you really just described is that how local agents through their work, if they do their job right, taking that intake and then prioritizing those things and connecting them to the communities that best meet those highest priorities, people walking in your door are almost glad to see you because you are the solution to their problem. Then
Exactly. Well, and I think the one thing too that's great about that local referral agent is that family has had time to build that relationship with them, and they understand what that family is looking for, as well as they've been able to kind of help set the picture of what senior living is going to be. So it gives them that reassurance. So when they do go to look at a few different communities, because they will during their search, they're not just going to go to one community, but when they're going with that agent to a few communities, the great thing is they now have someone who's outside the family, but on their side, to be able to say, do you remember at community A, you liked this? And at community B, you like this. They're personally with that person. They're not just over the phone, like you had to call them and touch base. That referral agent's personally with them. And that is, I think, the biggest thing that family needs during that time.
if I can learn anything, even if I sit in the room with the senior that needs the placement or is, it's for them, even if I'm there under the idea that I'm sent from the doctor, I'm a friend of your daughter's, being present for me, particularly having been a clinician, says so much about the direction we go as opposed to just filling out an online form and you don't know anything about them. You don't feel their energy. You don't know how they respond to questions or if their sense of humor is still intact or do they only respond to things or do they initiate their own conversation? You don't know where they are, where their mental status. You don't know any of that from an online form. And so a good agent just does so much, I think, to help the process.
Oh, 100%. I think that that agent, just to be able to have that human interaction and
Yeah.
talking to one another and being together does so much for the family. And if the family is needing help, the biggest mistake that they can make is not to work with a local agent because the local agent is really going to help take that stress away that they need.
Awesome. The state of Arizona licenses assisted living, and so your community is licensed assisted living. The memory care is licensed to a higher level, right?
Correct.
The state of Arizona doesn't have any licensure or oversight to my industry,
Mhm.
which on one hand I'm cool with. On one hand, it's a free for all, right? Anybody and anybody can join us. And so there is only one law that pertains to our business, and that's that I have to disclose and provide a written disclosure to the family, and then it goes to you when we conduct our business.
Right.
With that being said, with everyone and everybody's in the pool in this world now, how do you find the best agents to work with? What's the most important thing, or what do you look for? Um, Pastors members, which is our association. What? Tell me what you do in your building to kind of hone in on some of the best operators.
Well, I'll tell you, truthfully, the best operators to work with are the ones that build that relationship with me. You know, they talk to me, you know, they call me on a regular basis or email. You know, we're in communication all the time. So they know my changes and what's happening. They know my availability. They kind of give me an idea of some families they're working with, and I can talk to them about who I can maybe help assist and how I can assist them. But if a family member does not have that one-on-one with that referral agent coming out and working with them, I think they really need to rethink things because the referral agent who's going to really help them is the referral agent that is with them personally and is talking to them. And those are the people that I work with.
Yeah,
But when someone just calls me and says, "Oh, I'm going to send someone your way," I understand schedules
yeah,
sometimes. I
yeah,
respect that,
yeah.
but when that family's needing that representative to be there to help them build that friendship and that trust because you're going through one of the highest stress levels of their life right now.
Right, right. When Stacy, my wife, was working for one of your competitors in town here a few years back, it used to just infuriate her to get that call from this agent she's never met. Go, oh, my family thinks your building would be a perfect fit, which usually means they found it online. They mentioned it to the agent. The agent doesn't know anything about it, trying to stay ahead of it. That's how they get paid. So they have to stay ahead of it. And they
Mhm.
didn't know anything about her. And she's like, well, the family would really like a second floor apartment. She go, well, we're all ground floor. Like they didn't even know the basic
Yeah.
essentials. And there's those agents, you guys that are out there that are just cutting corners, don't do the legwork. They don't know their. I have my team constantly. If you ask any of them, they go, "What do I say more than anything?" I go, "Know your product, know
Yeah.
your product, because our product is you." And so I say, "Know your product,"
Yep.
and that means you got to stop by and see Trent, take him a cup of coffee, see what he's up to. Just swing by. What's the culture feel like in the building right now? Hey, when buildings have leadership changes, what does that do to the culture of the building? Yeah,
Very
right.
much.
There's things that are going on.
Yep. I mean, Scott, you hit it. I mean, that's so true. And everything that you just said, it's just that relationship that you build. And it's the referral agent knowing the community as well as knowing their client that they're talking to and what that client's needing, because those are the ones that I find are successful opportunities for both sides is when both parties, I also have to know my product. I also need to know my availability, what's coming available, as well as, excuse me, what type of activities, you know, when I'm talking to that family member, maybe they're into Mahjong. Well, then I need to understand where's Mahjong being played? Who's playing it? Are they opening up more groups? It's just things like that, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I bet I've seen a lot and done a lot of tours. I have done tours with agents that were, I mean, with sales directors that were there on their first day, and I knew the building better than them. And I go, let's go look at this other model. Like I knew the models of the building. You know, do you still have the Catholic community come over here and serve communion? Well, I know we have church on Sunday. No, 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 no. Don't you have like the minister from the Catholic? Because Catholic communion is very different than Protestant communion. Please,
Correct.
you got to know stuff like that, right? Where's the LDS, the local ward? I mean, you got to
Yep.
know that stuff if you're um, going to talk with confidence and intelligence about your product, right, to your families.
Well, and like I tell families too, Scott, is when I'm talking to them, if there's something that they've brought up that maybe I'm not familiar with, then
Mhm.
I need to find out, and I
Mhm.
need to then get back with that family and
Yeah,
let that family know. That's big.
I think one of the best things I can do for you when if I walk a family in is to facilitate the relationship launch between me and you. I'm no longer standing in the way. My thing is to introduce you guys. I'll follow you on the tour and help ask their questions if they're not asking them, but allow you the opportunity to expand upon those answers and for them to develop that trust. And I hope that agents, my team does the same kinds of things. And um, for me, it's another aspect of a good agent. I know agents that want to walk in and then take over and run the show for you, and that's got to make you nuts.
Oh, it does. I mean, and that's one thing I love working with your team is it's exactly that. And I mean, I find that we're working together. It's
Mm-hmm.
like they'll be like, "Oh, hey Trent, they were talking about this. Can you explain that a little bit more for them? Because I know that's an
Mm-hmm.
interest of theirs."
Right.
Sure, and I'm able to lead right into it.
Yeah.
It's great because we have that working relationship to help that
Yeah.
family. But
Yeah.
when someone walks in, I mean, if you're going to bring a lead and you're going to do the sale, and talk to them, then it makes it a lot harder because I'm not really getting to share how I know that community personally. And I think that's big for the representative who is at that community.
Have you had an agent walk in and then sell against you and talk up about going to another building or a group home? Because there's a whole nother set of motives behind that. But have you ever had an agent pull that on you?
I have had that a few times,
Mm-hmm.
and but it's like I tell it, I try to make it very professional, and I tell people, when they walk into a community group home, wherever they walk into, your gut tells you when you first walk in the door if that's going to be home.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't feel like home, then that's not where you need to be. It's like I tell everyone all the time, I would love for them to choose me.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I understand my community is not for everyone,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of other great resources out there. But you got to let the family member also be doing their homework, and let them be making the decision. You don't want to force a family to say, oh, hey, you need to choose this, because 9 out of 10 times they might not be happy because they didn't get to make the choice for
Right.
mom and dad.
Right.
You let them make the choice.
Right. Hey, we're about going to wrap this up, and I think you and I could talk about 2 hours here, and
Oh,
maybe
big
we
time.
will. Maybe we'll have another chance to do this. But before we go, hey, just share your personal mission. Like, why do you do what you do?
Well, my mission personally is I look at every family that walks in the door,
Mhm.
and when they sit down with me, I picture me in their situation looking for my parents
Mhm.
or before my grandparents. And I was very blessed. I was raised with all four of my grandparents, was close with all of them. So I watched them age, and it was hard as
Mhm.
you see them not become that loved one that you once remember. And so it's helping them find a quality of life that's going to be the best for them through the remaining time that they have on this earth.
Yeah.
And so I look at it that everyone that walks in the door, I feel that I need to look at their eyes and sit there and say, if I was them, what questions would I want answered? How would I want that individual to be treating me and talking to me, not coming across as a know-it-all, not, it's so important that I need to be able to understand the family.
Yeah.
And that's what I would want is someone to understand me. So that's why I have the mission that I do. And I have the passion that I do is I feel everyone deserves respect and everyone deserves the best quality life as possible.
Thank you. It's our privilege that at Options and at Senior Resource Connectors, we get to partner with Cadence Cogir as a company. And one of the things that each of you that works for your particular building, you guys all say something similar. And so what I know that they do is they also attract and hire and retain some of the top talent in this town that has a love and passion to touch and work with families. And so that makes me and my team very confident coming forward and continue to introduce you guys to families that we get to walk with. So thank you. Thank you for being here today. We had a little technical challenges a few times to even get to this meeting. You guys don't have times we try to do this. And I know it was because we had something powerful to say today. So listen, thanks so much. When we wrap this up, you guys, Trent's contact information for his community in Chandler will be on the screen. If there's anything, if you're looking for an agent, he's got great ideas on who you can talk to. I appreciate you so much bringing light to a really challenging subject and topic. So thanks for your time today. You guys, thanks for joining us. Senior Resource Connectors is here for you. If you have any questions at all, you call us. We will guide you and put you in touch with the right resources that support you in your journey with your loved ones. So thanks for joining us. Take care. Take care.
Thanks, Scott.